everybody. Kevin Broughton coming at you today from Success Unlimited. And for those of you that have tuned into our social media platform, we are super excited today. We have a series called the Superhero Series. And we've had so many awesome professionals on this series, including Dale Vermillion from the great state of Florida, and Dave Savage, who owned Mortgage Coach, and Carl White, and just a number of people that have just influenced the mortgage industry. And we are very lucky to have one of our own who's an influencer in the mortgage industry nationwide with us today. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend Regina Eldridge from the great state of Texas. Regina, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to share a little bit with us today. I'm excited. And Regina hails from a little town called Llano, Texas, which is bordering city of Austin. And I was recently informed that it's both the beer capital and the barbecue capital of the great state of Texas. So
absolutely.
Am I right on both of those things? Regina?
Absolutely.
Good. Well, Regina runs the reverse mortgage department for Success Mortgage Partners and has decades of years in the industry. And she's literally, if not the most knowledgeable professional in the country on this subject, I don't know who is. She knows it backwards and forwards. And she's just been a pioneer in helping this mortgage become more and more relevant. So with that, I'm just going to jump in and kick off with a couple questions, Regina, if I may.
Sure.
So over the years, if you truly understand the value and the benefits of a reverse mortgage, it's arguably one of the most important products available in the United States today. But yet, at times, the product itself has gotten a bad rap. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think we've progressed a little beyond that, but invariably, it's still the most often asked question we get. Do I still own my home? Right. And absolutely, people want to make it much more complicated than it is. It's just very simply refinancing into a different type of a home equity loan that allows you to access your equity in your home without having to make payments once again as a senior in retirement income years.
Well, and I do have a basic knowledge. I don't have 1/10 of the knowledge you have, but as I think and I've thought for years about this product, and I've seen how unbelievably well you've done with it and what you've done to our organization by your willingness to spearhead this department and how valuable that's been to us as a company, I can't help but think about the timing is so important for this valuable product now. And with the number of people trying to retire, wanting to retire, and with the reality that exists in America today versus just even one generation ago, do you see the reverse mortgage playing an increased role as the years go on in helping people with their ability to retire?
Absolutely. And I think the one really strategic change we've noticed in the last couple of years is more often now we're getting the phone calls from the adult children of our seniors. And they're reaching out and they're saying, hey, I'm looking at some options to help my mom and dad financially. I've heard about a reverse mortgage and you took care of my mortgage. So what do you know about them? They're coming to the source because they trust you.
Well, and that's obviously the most important, especially with the group, I would imagine, that get these mortgages, because I still think you need to be 62 to qualify. Is that accurate?
Right.
And if you're married, does each spouse need to be 62 or older or not?
It depends on the state. There are about 7 states that allow a non-borrowing spouse.
Okay. All right. So for the majority of the states, but, you think about the reality in the world today with so fewer pensions. When my father retired, he worked at the same place for 40 years and he received a pension until the day he passed, from his company. But that's really not as normal today as it was a generation ago, correct?
Absolutely. I think pensions down to national and even state and government entities now are down to about 12% of all employees have an access to a pension any longer.
Well, that's a very valuable stat. And then if you look at the vulnerability of Social Security in years to come, that could continue to be more and more tumultuous as to how available that's going to be for millions of Americans at some point when they need it, right?
Absolutely.
So you couple those two factors with, historically Americans ability to save isn't always as high as they like it to be, right? And so this is just to be able to access the equity that you've already built up in your home without the need to pay back the loan until you pass is pretty, I mean, it makes total sense. And so you said something earlier that there's, I've always been this myth of, oh, do they steal my parents' house? Or, oh, do they take title on my home? And that's obviously not true. But still, with that stigma in the air, it creates concern. And yet you're seeing a little calming of that over the last few years. That's not as prevalent.
Yeah, we really are. The last 2 years, it's been more of, I've heard a little bit about reverse mortgages, but I really don't know anything about them, So we created this cool little just consumer marketing website that just kind of answers those basic questions. And it's our successreverse.com. And it's really awesome because, adult kids and their parents, even if they're living states apart, they can both go on there and just kind of review the quick little videos. It just kind of answers all the basic questions and they can talk about it together. And as a family, they can decide, hey, is everybody comfortable going to the next step with this?
Fantastic. And you've had tons of experience on all sides of the aisle on this product, right? You used to wholesale these, in a previous life, and now we're doing them in-house here internally. Is there a benefit for the loan officer or for the consumer by the way we do them versus the way some other folks do them?
Absolutely. And that's why I've spent the last 5 years with Success. I think our biggest benefit and value that we offer over any other company in the reverse space is the fact that your customer, your previous clients, their parents, they can come to you and we can help them make a decision about a reverse mortgage. And we offer every reverse mortgage product that is available on the market, whether it's a government insured FHA product or a portfolio non-FHA product. And they can come to one place, they can do one application and go through one process and have all of the choices that are available to them. If you go to a big investor that's a national company, typically you have the option of only using their products, and that's it.
That's huge differential because first of all, with a lack of general knowledge by many consumers in America, you sure as heck don't want to limit your opportunities because you went to the wrong place. And one of the things I've always felt was just as important as you just stated, that when you came here 5 years ago, it was your mission to ensure that we could offer every senior that wanted and needed and could benefit from one of these, every available one, plus the guidance and the knowledge to know the difference and make sure they're in the right one. Because a place that only has one or two options, that might not be the best one for that individual, but if that's all they have, that's what they're going to sell, right?
Absolutely. And I see that we get a transfer of a senior who has been in that position at least every month. We had another one come in this week. The product that they were set up on was not the best option for them. And, we just presented all of the options that are available for them, and they were able to make that choice on their own.
And probably more so than any other mortgage product in the country, I would imagine that the need to be consultative on the sale of this product is higher than any other product, I would assume, just because of the I don't know the right word, but the depth. Yeah, the depth of what they're, and the need that it's fulfilling is so monumentally important. Your whole team has an extreme level of expertise, right?
Absolutely. We have an unusual caliber of support and operations. Everyone in our operations predominantly has dealt with the sales side all the way through to the closing and post-closing side. So they're not only looking at something from just gathering documents and going down a checklist, they're looking at it from day one, saying, hey, we've got this information here. Let's go ahead and clear this up so we don't have any obstacles in our way down the road. Reverse mortgages are very manually driven. They're not as automated. And so they're a little more stressful for our seniors. And I really didn't appreciate how stressful they could be until my husband and I paid off our home personally. And I was traveling, like you say, at the time in wholesale, he was traveling, and we had it scheduled to be paid off that year. And I was able to get it paid off a few months early. And I called him that night. I said, hey, guess what? We finally did it. We paid off our home, no more house payments. And then I turn around and I look at now and I think, oh my gosh, we're doing a reverse mortgage now, and I'm putting another mortgage on my house. What an eye opener,
Right.
to sit in the seat of our customer, because it is in their generation, it has always been the sign of success to have your home paid for.
Yes.
And for many of them, when they go back and look at a reverse mortgage, they kind of look at it, did I do something wrong that I need
Correct.
to do this?
And that's a natural emotion, right? That's a natural emotion to have. But the facts are, all they're doing is saying, let me access the equity I built while I stay in my home while I'm alive.
Well, if you think about it, if you have money in savings, if you have a savings account and you're earning zero interest on it, and you're not using it or accessing it, what good does it have for you? It doesn't do anything for you. It's the same thing with your home equity. When you're, retired and you're not earning new income each year, then that money's just sitting in your home.
Yep.
And it's not being used. So to not put it in some value asset for you, even a lot of people, once they just talk to their CPA and they understand that a reverse is designed to work with the tax laws and the tax benefits that seniors deal with every year. And so as a senior, even if you don't need it today, you can open your reverse mortgage, put your available funds in a line of credit, and that line of credit grows in a non-taxable capacity at the same rate as your note rate, which is absolutely huge.
I did not know that. That's unbelievable. And again, this is the depth of knowledge that you have that I know a lot of guys and gals in this country say, oh, yeah, I do reverses, but they did one in 2008.
Right.
And, that's a whole different ballgame. And are you still able to use it for purchase?
Absolutely. The purchase loans are even more prevalent now. And it's interesting because we used to say people would downsize when they retire. But now we find they may not go up in square footage for the new home they're purchasing, especially if it's a new construction home.
Right.
But they are upgrading the dickens out of all the luxury items in it, man. It's like, I've worked all my life. I want every bell and whistle in this house you can put in here for me. So they can do it.
So let me just run an analogy by you. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but let's say you were like me, a Michigander, and you paid off your home after 30 years and you were thinking about buying a retirement to move into Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And if you sold your home up here for $300,000, but you wanted a $600,000 home in Florida, you could take the 300 proceeds from here, and I know I'm talking general,
Mm-hmm.
plunk that down and maybe get a reverse mortgage for the other 300. So you could close on the house with only your 300.
Right.
And you don't have a payment on the other 300 until you move or pass.
Exactly.
So if you were buying your forever home there, why wouldn't someone, if they were able, use a reverse? Like, is there any reason not to?
There's really not. And most importantly, the thing that I think we don't often like to really talk about, but it's a conversation we need to have in reverse. And, when people get married and the marriage invitations and everything at the wedding, you always say when two become one. Yep. Well, there's another point in our lifetime when two become one.
Yes.
And that's at maturity.
Yes.
And at that point in time, when two become one, it's more important than ever for the one remainder person to have that reverse mortgage already in place.
Yes.
Because then they already have a financial asset structured so that they're not in distress financially with the loss of income from the other spouse. And so in particular, when they're moving into that long-term home in Florida or wherever it may be, close to their kids, grandkids, if I had one message I would just love for people to listen to more than anything it would be get your reverse mortgage before you need it and not after.
It's a great message, and unfortunately, my father just passed, and my mom is now living by herself, and we've had to deal with a lot of stuff since that day recently, and it's difficult times. It's hard enough, my folks have been together 63 years, and so my mom,
Wow.
very sad, as am I. But then you deal with the other stuff on top of it. Anything that can be in place in advance is obviously a huge benefit.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. Here at our company, we have a lot of forward loan officers, and they interact with you and your team regularly. Because is it true they'd rather refer one to you and just have you all take care of it versus trying to learn all the nuances of the underwriting and the software and all the realities? They would
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's such a different pace. And I think the advantage that we have is, I started out with my own broker shop and doing forward mortgages.
Yep.
And I did that for 10 years. So I totally understand where they're coming from and, kind of what their day value is, minute to minute, hour to hour.
Right.
And whenever they try and plug in a reverse into that process that they already have established in their daily success plans, it's just not, it kind of has a collision course there.
Yes.
So they've all learned that the better thing they can, really benefit from with a great experience for their customers is, just fill out their simple little referral form. We touch base with people same day if we get it by about 2:00. If it's after, sometimes it may be the next morning. But everyone's aware of that, and they just send it over, and we have an account representative for each of our forward branches. And, they just walk them through the process and keep them informed along the way, just kind of touch base and let them know how things are going. Sometimes we will flip it back to a forward mortgage. Sometimes we'll say, you know what, this isn't the best situation right now. We may need another year of equity building before this is a great thing.
Right.
So go ahead with that forward refi and get them into that position that's going to help them a year from now, and we'll revisit it.
I love the consultative approach, and we're running to the end of our time together here today. Last question, and I know this might sound a little strange, but if someone's tuning in watching this, we have a lot of people watch these episodes that aren't at our company. Could they get in touch with you and refer you? I know you can't pay them if they don't work here, but could
Sure.
you help somebody even if they don't work here, if they just need to service their client?
Absolutely. Or even if they just want a second opinion.
Okay, great. And I'll make sure that we get your contact info and phone number and email address on this recording. But I just really wanted to thank you. You're a wealth of knowledge, but more importantly, you're kind and you're nice and you care more about the consumer than the commission. And to me, that's the true value of you. I know your immense knowledge of the product is great, but the way you conduct yourself, the way you run the team, the way you care for the senior, the way you care for the referring loan officer, all that to me is equally, if not more important than your knowledge. And it's what makes your contribution to this company very, very, very high. And just appreciate you. I know we don't get a chance to talk as much as we'd each like to, and you're busy doing your thing, and I'm busy doing mine. But thank you endlessly for what you have done and what you continue to do to help this place be a full service lender and try to accommodate people at the highest level every time. I appreciate it.
Well, the team and I really, really love working with our coworkers at SMP, all of our teammates. We value it. But most importantly, we are so appreciative of all of our founders with Vince, Owen, yourself, and Allison being supportive of the reverse space and letting us continue to grow that and offer it in such a beneficial format for the consumers.
Well, we're 100% committed to it. And I feel that we are scratching the surface of where we could take this. And I think the number of people that this is a value add in their life for is in the millions. And the more of them we can get to and help through true education and accurate information and real consultation is I think we're just getting started on where we could go. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything. And for all of you tuning in today to our superhero series, Regina is a true superhero. And please keep watching. We try every day here, every week, to bring you valuable content that helps you have a more freedom-filled life, a more stress-free life, and to earn a living helping those in need and doing it through financing the American dream. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Thanks, team.